Good morning, everyone. So, hello everyone. Good morning, guys. आपण माने जेमती जानी चंती Monday, Wednesday, Friday मोर live session रहूची. So today's session is about the physics class. What I'm NCERT 5th to 12th cover up करूचे. So let न करी के first question देखिबा. But before that, guys, ଆମର already batch launch ହେଇ सारिची. Today के coming 30th April, the last date जोटा आपण माने चाहिले join करी पारिबे by using my code SSP live so that you can avail the discounted price 1799 over it. गोटे मिनिट बस गोटे मिनिट दियंतु. तो आपनकर चलिबो ये आपण फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखंतु एंड क्वेश्चन आंसर करिबा मझिरे आपनको कोर्स रिगार्डिंग जहां भी नोटिस अछि कहि देबे. Guys, which among the following is not an example of a matter? These are the options, that is air, that is heat, that is smoke and water vapor. So below are the options. Give me the right answer in the comment section. Which is not an example of matter? Tell me, guys. Which is not an example of matter? Comment section में answer दिया. If you know the answer, then give me the answer. Guys, heat is not an example of matter, baki air, because air किछि particles अछि. Smoke, water vapor, these are consisting of some particles, but heat is not. See how. Guys, what is matter? What is matter? Matter refers to any substance that occupies space and has a mass comprising atoms and molecules. Comprising the atoms and molecules. And it exists in various forms such as solid, liquid, gases and plasma, but not in state. Amar gote heat thila, that is not a state of the matter. Okay. Next question answer दियो so that take interesting लागिबो class, otherwise class boring लागिबो तम मानको. Guys, which type of solid? which type of solid has a well-defined geometric structure? Which type of solid has a well-defined geometric structure? Is that amorphous? Is that crystalline? Is that supercooled liquid, or that is plasma? What will be the right answer, guys? Which type of solid has a well-defined geometric structure? What will be the right option here? Amorphous, crystalline, or supercooled liquid, or plasma? So here is also the right answer is crystalline. So well defined geometric structure कौन होची why crystalline को choose करा जायछि? Guys तार structure होची किछि ए टाइप रो जेटा कि आपण मानको को graphene sorry you are not in the batch रे पढ़ा हिदिला कि graphene हैला and ଆମର ग्राफिलिन्स हैला एगुडा सब को टाइप रो स्ट्रक्चर रहइबो ना ता क्रिस्टलाइन स्ट्रक्चर जोटा कि देखंतो कार्बन कार्बन भितरे गोटे बॉन्ड फॉर्मेट करू जोटे क्यूबिक फॉर्म टे को करूछि दैट इज the simple cubic form and consist करूछि कोन ना गोटे क्यूब टाइप रो स्ट्रक्चर कंसिस्ट करूछि दैट इज ए व्हाट well defined geometric structure हमें ताको कहि परिबा काहाकू ना क्रिस्टलाइन स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ एनी atoms. See next question. Why does ice float on water? Ice ता कहीं की water रे float करे. Obviously किछि तो तार पछरे scientific reason थिबो. What is that? Is ice is heavier than water? Ice has a lower density than water. Ice has a high boiling point, or ice has strong intermolecular forces. What will be the right answer, guys? Why does ice float on water? Suppose गोटे बाल्टी पानी नेलो या फिर गोटे पॉट रे पानी नेलो ता ऊपर जदि तमे आइस रो क्यूब्स हैला या फिर को भी स्ट्रक्चर आइस को तमे पकेइला सेटा फ्लोटिंग अवस्था रे रहिबो कोन पे तार रीजन कोन रहउची तार रीजन होउची गाइस बिकॉज ऑफ आइस हैज ए लोअर डेंसिटी दैन वाटर आपण माने जानि थिबे वाटर को कोन जते हमें टेंपरेचर कमे कमे 0 डिग्री को करि दोउचे सेते बेले जाई से आइस रे कन्वर्ट होउची तो तार डेंसिटी टा कोन एटा हमें लोअर करूचे देन जाई के आइस रे कन्वर्ट होउची सो दैट दिस इज फ्लोटिंग सिचुएशन रे रहिबो guys in liquid state water molecules are closely held together by weak hydrogen bonds but jete bele solid ta sorry liquid ta jete bele solid re convert hochi that means ice cubes rohuchi floating condition rohuchi on reaching solid state hydrogen bonds become stable arranging the water molecule far apart from each other. This causes ice to have a lesser density than water. Next देखो, see what is the next question? In which of the following states do particles have the highest energy? Is that solid? Is that liquid? Is that gas? Or that is plasma? In which of the following states do particles have the highest energy? को स्टेट रे आपण माने जानि चंदी टोटल मैटर रे केतेटा ना चारिटा स्टेट्स थाए वन इज सॉलिड लिक्विड गैस एंड प्लाज्मा तो चारिटा भितरु को स्टेट रे हमर पार्टिकल्स मानकर एनर्जी सबटु हाईएस्ट रहइबो सॉलिड रे लिक्विड रे गैस रे और प्लाज्मा सो व्हाट विल बी द राइट आंसर गाइस दिस इज प्लाज्मा सी व्हाई guys plasma have the highest energy of the states of matter. The energy not only exceeds the attractive forces among the molecules but also exceeds the attractive forces that holds atom together. So एठी तमे एग्जांपल लेखा सॉलिड रे केमिति बहुत ही क्लोजली बाइंड हेकी थांती molecules उडा बट लिक्विड रे थांती बट नॉट गोटे सेम स्ट्रक्चर रे न थांती पजल हेकी पाखा पाखी से माने गुरु थांती एंड गैस रे कोन ना टिके तांको भितरे गैप आसी जाई थाए एंड प्लाज्मा रे बहुत सारा मॉलिक्यूल्स डिफरेंट पॉजिटिव आयन नेगेटिव आयन डिफरेंशिएट हो जाई थाए सो दैट्स व्हाई हमें कोन कहि परिबा ना प्लाज्मा रे हमर एनर्जी सबटु हाईएस्ट थाए and guys as a result molecules of plasma are broken down into a cloud of protons neutrons and electrons that all move and function together नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखो, क्वेश्चन आंसर दियो। Which of the following properties of a substance determines its thermal conductivity? Which of the following properties of a substance determines its thermal conductivity? Is that density? Is that specific heat? Is that atomic structure? Is that surface area? What will be the right answer? Which of the following properties of a substance determines its thermal conductivity? Density, specific heat, atomic structure or surface area? Guys, question ने कौन पचारिछि? See, तमे question पचारुछ ना आंसर दोछ? मते question पचारुछ निजे? तो guys, question ने पचारिछि हमकु ना गोटे substance determine केते बेले हुए due to its thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity, it's a good conductor or it's a bad conductor. हमें केमिति जानछु? ता structure को नेकी जानछु. Density नहीं, specific heat नहीं, surface area नहीं, structure will be the right answer. How? See, thermal properties of matter कौन कहूछ? First, the thermal properties of matter are characteristics that describe how materials responds to temperature changes. So temperature change होउची केमिति matter तापाई respond करूची thermal conductivity या कहूची. Types कौन कौन होउची? First, the thermal conductivity, specific heat capacity, thermal expansion, thermal emissivity, heat capacity, thermal insulation and thermal stress. These are the types of thermal properties of matter. But basically amara depend करूची कहा उपरे ना depend करूची sorry the atomic structure उपरे depend करूची. Atom रो को type रो structure रहउची ता उपरे depend करूची amara thermal properties. Next question देखो, मन इच्छा सब आंसर दिया होची BC. Next दियो, which mode of heat is predominant in solids? Which mode of heat transfer is predominant in solid? Is that conduction? Is that convection? Is that radiation? Or that is sublimation? What will be the right answer? Which mode of heat transfer is predominant in solid? Conduction, convection, radiation or sublimation? What will be the right answer? This is conduction. See why? Guys, conduction कौन कहूची ना the transfer of heat through a material by direct contact. Suppose आपण माने iron दोचंती. For an example, आपण माने dress टाको press करूचंती. तो आयरन टा हीट होउची ना कि आपण को ड्रेस होउची, बट आयरन टा हीट होउची ता फळ ताकू जतरा हम टच करूची तो हीट टा कन्वर्ट होउची. हीट टा कन्वर्ट हेबा फळ रे हमर ड्रेस भी गरम होउची एंड हम जो शेप रे देखा आयरन दोउची से सेही शेप रे आयरन ही की रहउची. That's depend upon what? Na conduction. See next. Why is silver a better conductor of heat than iron? Why is silver a better conductor of heat than iron? Is that lower specific heat, higher density, free electrons move faster, or lower melting point? Why is silver a better conductor of heat than iron? Iron अपेक्षा silver काहेंकी गोटे better conductor? Because of what character it has, that's why this is a better conductor than iron. Lower specific heat, higher density, free electrons move faster or lower melting point. जेतेबेले भी हमर गोटे कंडक्टर हमें कहूचे गुड हो बैड हो, यदि बेटर कहिचे दैट मींस गुड कंडक्टर कहिचे ऑफ हीट, तो केतेबेले कहूचे जेतेबेले इलेक्ट्रॉन्स टा फ्रीली मूव करूचंदी कोन सेही एटम्स भितरे फ्रीली दे कैन मूव. जेतेबेले हम हीट दोउचे सडनली कोन से गरम हे जिवो एंड माने कोन फ्रीली मूव करबा स्टार्ट करिवो, जेते जल्दी कोडारे स्टार्ट करिवो. आयरन अपेक्षा कोन हमें बहुत जल्दी सिल्वर रे ताकू आपण माने जानिथिबे जस्ट टिके सिल्वर को हिट देले से तरलिबा स्टार्ट करे बट आयरन को टिके अधिक हिट दरकार हुए जोटा जते जल्दी गरम हुए जोटा जते जल्दी पिघले आमे कहि परिबा सेटारे कोन हीट गुड कंडक्टर बोली कहि परिबा so that's why the free electrons move faster see next so conductors like copper hella gold hella silver hella graphite hella iron hella these are the good conductors and guys insulator tame nei paribo the paper glass rubber wood or fabric are the insulator so silver is the best conductor because its electrons are free to move than those of the other elements thereby making it more suitable for the conduction of electricity and heat than any other element next see Which phenomenon explains why land heats up faster than water during the day? Which phenomenon explains why land heats up faster than water during the day? Is that for higher specific heat of water, higher density of land, lower thermal expansion of land, or convection in water is slower? What will be the right answer? Which phenomenon explains why land heats up faster than water during day? आमर डे टाइम रे सनलाइट जते बेले पड़े लैंड ता जल्दी गरम हो जाए बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट बिकॉज ऑफ हायर स्पेसिफिक हीट of water, higher density of land, lower thermal expansion of land or convection in water is lower. Because water specific heat कौन थाए higher थाए and lower थाए कहारो than water land रो थाए that's why हमर कौन ना land टा जल्दी heat off है see the explanation specific heat capacity of water what it says water has a high specific heat. Specific heat is the amount of energy required to change the temperature of a substance and that is because water has a high specific heat. It can absorb large amount of heat energy before it begins to get hot. Okay, so once hela pore taku thanda heba ପାଇଁ ବି ଟିକେ time ଲାଗେ ଅଧିକ. So ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାକୁ ଅଧିକ amount ର heat ଦରକାର so ଟିକେ time ତ ଲାଗିବ ଯାହାକୁ କମ amount ର heat ଦରକାର ତାକୁ କମ time ରେ ସେ ଗରମ ହେଇଯିବ. Same thing. Next ଦେଖ. On what principle does a thermos flask minimize heat loss? On what principle does a thermoflask minimize heat loss? In reducing conduction, reducing convection, reducing radiation, or all of them. On what principle does a thermoflask minimize heat loss? Guys, yes, this is also bearing the conduction, reduce करे convection also and reducing radiation also. So what will be the right answer? All of the above. So convection, radiation, conduction कौन कहूची guys? See. Now through transport of heated matter in the fluid warmer, loss dense fluid rises while cooler denser fluid sinks to take its place, creating a circular motion called convection current. That means guys ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମର ଭିତରେ କିଛି ବି ଗୋଟେ thermoflask ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ସେଇ type ର element କିଛି ବି no matter thermoflask glass flask ହେଲା କିଛି ବି equipment physically ଆସିଲାଣି ତ ତା ଭିତରେ ଆପଣ ମାନେ hot water ପୁରେଇଲେ ତ ସେଟା ବହୁତ time ଯାଏ କାହିଁକି ଗରମ ହେଇକି ରୁହେ because of the less dense fluid rings and the cooler is the denser fluid that sinks to take its place. ताकू टिके टाइम लागे से जो लेयर हेकी थाए ताकू बाहर को आसिया पे हीट ता बेले बाहर को आसे एंड जेते बेले बाहर लाइक हमर एटमॉस्फेयर रो प्रेशर ताकू जदी ठंडा वाला प्रेशर ताकू टच करे देन से स्टार्ट में कूल डाउन हेबा जदी तार हीट ता ही बाहर को आसीबनी देन सेटा कूल डाउन केमथि हबो एंड गाइस आल्सो फॉर द रेडिएशन एंड आल्सो फॉर द कंडक्शन सो कन्वेक्शन रेडिएशन कंडक्शन three are the important role जो कि प्ले करंदी हमरो थर्मोफ्लास्क रे वाटर गरम रहिबा। नेक्स्ट थिंग, why does black clothing feel hotter in sunlight than white clothing? आपण मान जानी थिबे घरे आपन को पेरेंट्स माने कहंती कि खरा को जम्मा डार्क कलर ड्रेस पिंधि के जानी, ब्लैक तो बिल्कुल जानी, जिते पिंधुछ खरा दिने व्हाइट कलर ड्रेस, लाइट कलर ड्रेस पिंधा एंड obviously cotton पिंधि के जाओ. But why? What's the reason behind it? Because of black absorbs more radiation or black reflects more heat. Black has a lower thermal capacity, white has a higher specific heat. What will be the right answer? Why does black clothing feel hotter in sunlight than white clothing? Because of black absorbs more radiation, not black reflects, white reflects more heat. Next, see. So what is the absorption and reflection of light, guys? Light and color. The color of an object is determined by the wavelength of visible light that it reflects. So visible light kahar kam rahuchi na white ro. For instance, a red shirt appears red because it reflects red light. Wavelength around 620 to 750 nm and absorbs other wavelength. In the same way, dark color versus light color हमें देखी परिबा dark colored object कौन हुए ना बहुत जल्दी absorb करी दिए, whereas light color टिके reflect करे. That's why हमें dark color dress इतरे पिंधिबा sunlight रे हमको अधिक गरम लागे. Next, see. The unit of thermal conductivity is. Thermal conductivity रा unit कौन रहिबा? This is what per meter Kelvin. See, thermal conductivity कौन कहूची ना the quantity of heat that passes in unit time through unit area of a substance whose thickness is unity when it opposes phase differ in temperature by 1 degree. The SI derived unit from thermal conductivity is what? Watt per meter Kelvin. Watt per meter Kelvin. Next, see. The SI unit of heat capacity is. The SI unit of heat capacity is that joule? Is that joule for Kelvin? Is that watt? Is that joule per kg? The SI unit of heat capacity is. The SI unit of heat capacity is joule by Kelvin. किछि किछि आपन को मन रखिया को पड़िबा जेमति थर्मल एक्सपेंशन रहला कोन सिंबल रहूची, स्पेसिफिक एंट्रोपी रा कोन सिंबल रहूची, थर्मोडायनामिक्स ऊपर टिके बेसिक आईडिया रख. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The emissivity of a perfect black body is. The emissivity केति गोटे परफेक्ट black body केते emission करि परिबो, केते emissivity तार रहिबो, that is 1. That is 1. See, next. So what is a perfect black body, guys? First the emissivity of a perfect black body is 1. That means it emits the maximum amount of radiation possible for a given temperature and wavelength, and it absorbs all incident radiation, reflecting none. Okay. Next, see. Why does water boil at a lower temperature at high altitude? High altitude रे water सबुठु lower temperature रे ही boil हुए. Why? Because decreased specific heat, because it decreased atmospheric pressure, because it increased thermal expansion, or it increased density. What will be the right answer? Because, guys, it decreased atmospheric pressure. It decreased atmospheric pressure. जिते बेला में जिते ऊपर को जाउचे फिर भी हमको वाटर कौन दरकार ना गोटे lower temperature रे ही boil हबो. When we go to high altitude, the water get boils at a low temperature. higher altitude have a lower pressure and lower altitude have a higher pressure. It is much simple. Next thing, Fick's law explains why a metal spoon becomes hot when placed in a hot cup of tea. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ metal spoon ଟାକୁ ଚା କପ୍ ଭିତରେ ଡୁବେଇ ଦଉଛେ all of sudden ସେ ଗରମ ହେଇଯାଉଛି because of what? କୋଉ law according ଏଟା statement ଟା ଅଛି. Is that Newton's law of cooling? Is that Stephen's Boltzmann law? Is that Fourier's law of heat conduction, or that is Wien's displacement law? What will be the right answer, guys? This is Fourier's law of heat conduction. See what is Fourier's law? Heat conduction states that the rate of flow of heat through a single homogeneous solid is directly proportional to the area of the section at right angles to the direction of heat flow. That means ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚା କପ୍ ରେ ଆମେ ଗରମ ଚା ଟା ରଖିଛେ and ଯେକୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ metallic ଜିନିଷ ତା ଭିତରେ ପକଉଛେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସେ କଣ heat ଟାକୁ absorb କରେ. Next ଦେଖ, which process does not require a medium for heat transfer? ଯେକୌଣସି heat transfer ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ medium ଦରକାର ଆମେ ଜାଣିଛେ, but ଏମିତି process ବି ଅଛି ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ଆମର କିଛି medium requirement ବି ନଥାଏ. What is that? Is that conduction? Is that convection? Is that radiation? Or that is sublimation? What will be the right answer? Which process does not require a medium for heat transfer? Is conduction rate, there is a medium needed. Convection also medium needed. Sublimation also needed. But what will be the right answer? This is radiation. This is radiation where there is no need of any medium for heat transfer. See what is convection says, sorry, radiation says. Guys, radiation is the emission of transmission of energy. That means already se emit hoji. So seti medium kichi darkar hi nahi kono heat transfer pai already se emit hoji in the form of electromagnetic waves of subatomic particles. And guys, radiation is present in various forms from natural sources like the sun to technological applications such as medical radiation therapy. See next, why do deserts experience extreme temperature variations between day and night? Why do deserts experience extreme temperature variations between day and night? For high humidity, for low specific heat of sand, for high pressure variations, for rapid wind movement. Tell me, why do deserts experience extreme temperature variations between day and night? Between day and night. Guys, why? Why do deserts experience extreme temperature variations between day and night? Because of the low specific heat of sand. Low specific heat कौन? See, low specific heat कौन? Now, example से तमें नहीं पारिबो beach sand, that is low specific heat, that is hot in the day, cool at night. Ocean water को भी नहीं पारिबो, that is high specific. Beach temperature low specific, but ocean water high specific. That temperature at day and night roughly the same. Like तमें जदी कौन पूरा extremely mid of ocean हेला sea हेला mid को पळेइबो तो टेम्परेचर पाई तार बहुत गरम भी थिबो ठंडा भी थिबो जहां भी तार कंडीशन थिबो डे रे जति की थिबो नाइट रे एवरेज ही थिबो एक्सट्रीमली लो एक्सट्रीमली हाई एठी हुई. And guys, desert रे huge swings in temperature due to low specific heat of sand. Next देखो, the melting point of ice decreases when? The melting point of ice decreases when What will be the right answer? The melting point of ice decreases when pressure increase haba. They are inversely proportional. So they are directly proportional. That is, ice to the melting point decrease hela, pressure increase haba, pressure decrease hele, melting point increase. Okay. See next. The melting. Next. The melting point of water is what? The melting point of water is the temperature where water changes from a solid to liquid. It is in 0 degree Celsius, 32 degree Fahrenheit and 273 degree Kelvin. Sorry, not degree, 273 Kelvin. Which of the following substances has the highest specific heat capacity? Which of the following substances has the highest specific heat capacity? Is that for copper? Is that for mercury? Is that water? Is that sand? Which of the following substances has the highest specific heat capacity? Guys, water has the highest specific heat capacity. So specific heat capacity कौन कहूची? This is an amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kg of a material by 1 degree Celsius. So 1 kg material को जदि 1 degree Celsius लगे कि हमें तारा temperature raise करू जो सेमती 10 kg को कते 10 degree से sorry 1 degree Celsius लगेले time लागिबो. So ये जो 1 degree Celsius रे जते बेले हमें per kg हिसाब रे करूचे केते time taking होची. That is equal to m to c. So E refers to energy, m is the mass, c is the specific heat capacity and theta is the change in temperature. See next. Why does sweating helps in cooling the body? Why does sweating helps in cooling the body? Guys, sweating kahinki help body ro temperature को cool down karibare help. Because of its absorption of moisture or heat loss due to conduction or latent heat of vaporization or there is a convection of air. Absorption of moisture, heat loss due to conduction, latent heat of vaporization or convection of air. Guys, sweating amara help करे कौन ना body को cool down करिबारे because of the latent heat of vaporization. So what is latent heat of vaporization? The latent heat of vaporization is the amount of energy given to one liquid to transform into a gas without a change in temperature and vice versa. See next question. Yes, Priyadarshini. Why is difficult to cook food at high altitude? आमे जते बेले हाई अल्टीट्यूड को जाउचे हमको किछि रोसे करिया पई जो माने भी देखि चंदी ट्रेकिंग रे जानती पूरा पहाड़ ऊपर को या फिर बहुत ऊपर अल्टीट्यूड रे जानती तो माने काहे की रोसे करिबारे तांको हेल्प माने डिफिकल्ट फेस कर. So difficulty is because of higher boiling point of water or lower boiling point of water or decreased rate of heat conduction or high air pressure. High air pressure सहित प्रियदर्शिनी यार किछि रिलेशन नहीं. Because of the lower boiling आमे जते ऊपर को जीबा boiling point कोन सेते कम होबो. boiling point जदि कम हिजबा खाइबाटा कोन गरम हेले ही त आमे रोसे करि परिबा ना. boiling point lower हे गले हमको difficult से high altitude रे रोसे करिया. Okay. At higher altitude atmospheric pressure decreases due to which the boiling point of water also decreases. Hence water boils at a lower temperature due to which cooking food becomes difficult. Next question. Which type of heat transfer is responsible for sea breezes? So sea breezes amaro samudra pakhre jo hawa ase तो से जो पवन बहुत आपण जानि थिबे कोन गरम वाला हवा आसे तो कोथि पय आसे जो हीट ट्रांसफर हुए कोथि पय हुए because of the conduction, because of convection, because of radiation or because of evaporation. No, not because of conduction, because of the convection. This is because of convection. So why? Because convection is a heat transfer process involving the movement of fluid, whether liquid or gas. So movement कौन करे ना समुद्र पाखरे जिते बेले टेम्परेचर भीतर को गले लो आसे तो तार जो गरम हवाटा से कोन पवन द्वारा टाणी हेकी समुद्र भीतरु लैंड एरिया को आसे. So when a fluid is heated, particles near the heat sources becomes more energetic, expand and become less dense, creating an ascent. So less dense हेबे जिते बेले and expand हेबे तो से माने कोन लैंड आड़ को expand हेबा को स्टार्ट करिवे. So this phenomenon is common in the Earth's atmosphere where convection contributes to air circulation and climate. Convection is also crucial in numerous industrial and geographical processes. See, next, which of the following metals has the lowest thermal conductivity? Tell me which of the following metals has the lowest thermal conductivity? Is for that copper, silver, lead or aluminium. Which of the following metals has the lowest thermal conductivity? Lowest thermal conductivity, lead, not silver. See, what is lowest? First thermal conductivity, then there are two types. One is higher thermal conductivity, another is lower. So thermal conductivity is a material property that measures its ability to conduct heat. केते जल्दी कोटा गरम है कि conductivity को accept करिवो. It defined as the rate at which heat is transferred through a unit area of a substance per unit temperature gradient. So materials with high thermal conductivity efficiently conduct heat, allowing it to flow rapidly, while those with low thermal conductivity resist heat transfer. जोड़ार conductivity low थिबो से कोन heat transfer को resist करिवो, जोड़ार high थिबो से कोन accept करिवो and जल्दी melting हे जिवो. That's why the glass is the right one. Next देखो, according to Newton's law of cooling, the rate of heat loss is proportional to. According to Newton's law of cooling, the rate of heat loss is proportional to the mass of the object, the difference in temperature, the material of the object, the volume of the object. According to Newton's law of cooling, the rate of heat loss is proportional to according to Newton's law of cooling, the rate of heat loss proportional to what? Proportional to the difference in temperature. So what is Newton's law of cooling? The rate at which an object cools is proportional to the difference in temperature between the object and the temperature of its surrounding. So where first देखो T and Ts is equal to T0 minus T. That is where T is the final temperature of the object, T0 is the initial temperature of the object, K is the cooling constant, Ts is the temperature of the surroundings and T is the time. Next देखो, why do cooking utensils have wooden or plastic handles? Because the plastic या फिर wooden handle नथिबो, suppose तमरा किछि भी नथिबो, normal पिठा खडिका जो माने यूज करूछ रोसे तो जदि कड़े ऊपर किछि गोटे भजा तरकारी करके आछन ता भितर पिठा कड़िकाटा पके दे किनछ आ तमे जाई कि 10-15 मिनिट पर पिठा कड़िका को धरिबो तो हाथ चेंकिना लागिबो तो काहे की हुए? Because they are bad conductors of heat or they reduce heat radiation, they have low specific heat capacity or they increase cooking speed. Because guys, they are bad conductors of heat. That's why good conductor को हमें कौन ना टच करिया पे ता पछरे वुड रो या फिर प्लास्टिक की ता कौन गुड कंडक्टर्स तो सेति पे हमें कौन लगे था. ओके नेक्स्ट देखो, तो गुड कंडक्टर्स ऑफ हीट कौन ना gain heat quickly, increase in temperature quickly, loss heat quickly, decrease in temperature quickly or conduct heat from a warmer region to a cooler region quickly. So poor conductor of heat कौन होउची ना gain heat slowly, increase in temperature slowly, lose heat slowly, decrease in temperature slowly, conduct heat from a warmer region to cooler region slowly. Very good morning. Next question. Why does a metal surface feel colder than a wooden surface at the same temperature? Why does a metal surface feel colder than a wooden surface at the same temperature? Because of metal has lower density, because metal is a better conductor, because wood has a lower emissivity, or metal is a better insulator. Why does a metal surface feel colder than a wooden surface at the same temperature? Yes, एथर right answer देइछ प्रियदर्शिनी because metal is a better conductor. Because metal is a better conductor. See next. Which of the following is an example of forced convection? What is forced convection? And which of the following is an example of forced convection? Is that sea breeze, because of sea breeze, or flowing air from a fan, or smoke rising from a chimney, or expansion of air due to heat? What is a perfect example of forced convection? Sea breeze आपे आपे ही हवा जाउची, smoke rising from a chimney जदि चिमनी ऊपर अच्छी एंड तमने रोसे करछ तो ऑटोमेटिक सेटा कोन से टाणी की नै जाउची. Expansion of air due to heat, जदि heat दिया गला तो air expand हबो, that is also automatically. But blowing air from a fan, आमे fan न लगेले कोन से जीवनी. So पवन को पूरा ठेली की दोची कोन ना fan. So what will be the right answer? Yes, so this is blowing air from fan. So कोटा free convection, कोटा forced convection. See, a method of heat transfer in which the motion of the fluid is influenced by natural means and जोठी हमर कोन influenced by the external means, that is forced convection. And fluid motion generates as a result of the changes of density of fluid when heated. But our forced convection, fluid motion generates as a result of an external source such as pumping, fan, suction device. Okay, next see, the latent heat of fusion is the energy required to. The latent heat of fusion is the energy required to change a gas into a liquid, change a liquid into a gas, change a solid into a liquid, or change gas into a solid. What will be the right answer? The latent heat of fusion is the energy required to this is change a solid into a liquid. This is because of change of solid into a liquid. So latent heat of fusion कौन कहूची? The amount of energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid state of atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion. And there is sublimation and diffusion process also here. Sublimation कौन कहूची? ना the process of changing a solid into gaseous state without coming into liquid state. Directly कौन हबो? ना change of a solid to gas. That is sublimation. What is diffusion? Now the intermixing of two or more particles on their own is known as what? Diffusion. Next, which law governs the radiation emitted by a perfect black body? Which law governs the radiation emitted by a perfect black body? Is that Newton's law? Is that Stephen Boltzmann law? Is that Boyle's law or Dalton's law? Guys, Newton's law तो मन को already कही सारी नहीं, Dalton's law नुह, Boyle's law भी नुह. रहिला किए स्टेफेन्स बोल्ट्जमैन लॉ. So स्टेफेन्स बोल्ट्जमैन कौन कहउचंती? The according to the law is a cornerstone of the thermodynamics that relates the thermal radiation emitted by a black body to its temperature. To its temperature. See what is next. Which substance would be most effective for heat insulation? Which substance would be most effective for heat insulation? Is that for aluminium foil, for glass wool, for copper sheet, or for iron plate? Which substance would be most effective for heat insulation? For heat insulation, most effective is what? For the glass wool. For glass wool. See why? Guys, what is thermal insulation? Thermal insulation works by providing a thermal barrier, barrier thiba, which slow down the rate of heat transfer or temperature change. Suddenly, आपण माने गोटे higher heat provide करूछ किछि जिंस को. यदि मझिरे किछि रहिबनी ताहले डायरेक्ट सपोज आमे रोसई करूछे, हीट दउछे, मझिरे जदि कड़े रहिबनी आमे डायरेक्ट जिंसटा को पोड़ीबा ताहले सेटा तो बहुत की पोड़ी जीव ना. तो बैरियर भाबरे कोन काम करूछि ना कड़े काम करूछि. तो थर्मल इन्सुलेशन ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स भी सेम करूछि जेमिति के ब्लॉक करूछि. सपोज आमे घर बनेइछे, जदि कांथ घर न थांता ताहले डायरेक्ट सनलाइट पड़ले आमे माने गरम रहि पार न थांते, बिकॉज़ गोटे हीट बैरियर भाबरे की काम करूछि ना हमर वॉल. नेक्स्ट देखो, what is the primary reason why pressure cookers cook food faster? What is the primary reason why pressure cooker cook food faster? Because there is options. They increase the temperature of boiling water, they increase the conduction of heat, they provide better radiation, or they remove air from food. Guys, because they increase the temperature of boiling water. All of sudden आमे जदि गोटे क्लोज करिकी जे कोनोसी नॉट के प्रेशर कुकर बडा किछि भी आमे गोटे सपोज टिफिन रे भी पानी रखी क्लोज कर देले तबले बाहर टेम्परेचर सडन ता भीतर को जाई परिबनी एंड भीतर हीट तक हमें दोचे कोन होची ना टेम्परेचर ऑल ऑफ सडन इंक्रीज हो जाय रेजेस इन टेम्परेचर causing the highest boiling point. नेक्स्ट देखो, so food cooks faster when placed in a pressure cooker. This is because the pressure on a surface of the water is the atmospheric pressure and the boiling point of water is normal. Next, which of the following substance will experience the least temperature change when the same amount of heat is applied? When the same amount of heat is applied. Which of the following substance will experience the least temperature change? That is water. That is water. Which of the following substance will experience the least temperature change when the same amount of heat is applied? That is water. Jodi same amount ro heat apply kara gala copper, lead, water or iron bhitare ताले कोटा रहिबा सबठु अधिक ना water. See why? Sorry, next question देखो. In thermodynamics, what does absolute zero represent? Absolute zero माने कौन रहिबो thermodynamics? What will be the right answer? So the lowest possible temperature, or that is the boiling point of oxygen, or that is the freezing point of hydrogen, or that is the temperature at which water freezes. Guys, absolute zero कौन? ना सबठु lowest possible temperature. What is the lowest possible temperature? Is the absolute zero represent. That means 0 degrees Celsius suppose. See, what is absolute temperature? Absolute temperature is a temperature on a scale where 0 is the absolute zero. At absolute zero, atoms and molecules have minimum energy. And the temperature अधिक रहिबा सेतेबेले energy level सेते ऊपर ऊपर रहिबा जेमति हमरा condition in the plasma. Next देखो, what is the primary cause of wind movement on earth. So wind movement earth रे रहुची तारा what primary reason कौन रहुची? Because of the earth rotation, because of the difference in atmospheric pressure, because of the ozone layer, or because of the presence of water bodies. What will be the right answer? आमर अर्थ रे wind flow पवन काहींकी बहुची because of guys what na difference in atmospheric pressure. सब जगह रे at a time same पवन बुहिनी अलग अलग जगह रे पवन different style रे बहे तो सेटा काहींकी हुए because different zone रो atmospheric pressure भी different थाए. So see what is the exact reason. So guys, wind is the movement of air from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. That means higher pressure zone ରୁ lower pressure zone को कौन पवन टा बोई के आसे. And higher रे कौन थाए ना high pressure, cold air sinks and air winds flows into the partial vacuum. Then आसे की उठ के आसे ना lower zone को where air cools as it rises and forms cloud. Warm air rises, low pressure left behind. Next देखो. And guys, temperature drives air pressure. So ultimately, wind comes from unequal heating of the earth. Next question, guys. The Coriolis effect causes winds to deflect. The Coriolis effect causes winds to deflect. For left in northern hemisphere, right in the southern hemisphere, right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere, or no deflection at all. समीर बहुत जल्दी आसिकी गुड मॉर्निंग कहूछ. So what will be the right answer? The Coriolis effect causes winds to deflect because yes, because the right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere. See, what is Coriolis effect guys कहूची? Now the Coriolis effect is the curving of the path of object of fluid due to the earth's rotation. So earth रो rotation जेमिति होची ता according कोन fluid टा भी move होची. जदि earth रो rotate होची west to east and जदि हमर रही जीवो constant है कि then the प्रलय आसी. That means ता सहित हम समस्त move करूछ and obviously liquid भी move करूछ. Okay. So starting direction रहुची then change direction तो माने लिखि पारथुवा. Northern hemisphere to the right को जाउची, southern hemisphere रे to the left को जाउची. Next see, की political class रहुची तम माने. Okay, see, which of the following is responsible for the development of tropical cyclone? Which of the following is responsible for the development of tropical cyclones? So, is that for high atmospheric pressure? Is that for large scale cooling of ocean currents? Is that warm ocean water and low pressure system? Is that ozone layer depletion? Is that ozone layer depletion? Because of 243 answer there. Which of the following is responsible for the development of tropical cyclone? So tropical cyclone develops due to the reason of what? Warm ocean water and low pressure systems. Warm ocean water and low pressure systems. See how tropical storms are formed? Because of the high humidity and ocean temperature at over 26 degrees Celsius are measured. Contributing factors like water evaporates from the ocean surface and comes into contact with a mass of cold air, forming clouds. Then a column of low pressure develops at the center, winds from around the column. Then pressure ta round of taku घूरे घूरे को ऊपर को पूरा ठेलिके नहीं जाए. That as pressure in the central column weakens, the speed of the wind around it increases. That increase है कि कौन tough को जाए. Next thing, which cloud type is most commonly associated with thunderstorm? Which cloud type is most commonly associated with thunderstorm? Because of the cirrus or the stratus or the cumulonimbus or the nimbostratus. What will be? Because of the cumulonimbus. See, what is that? All about the cumulonimbus. What is the cumulonimbus cloud? Types of cloud guys are both types of that. One is the cumulonimbus. What is the cumulonimbus? That is a cloud are commonly known as thunderstorm cloud. So thunderstorm रे जो cloud टा generate हुए ताको हम कौन कहूचे ना cumulonimbus cloud, and they are clouds with vertical growth. ସେମାନେ कौन ना horizontally रुहंतिनी, they develop होंदी केमिति, this is the image, vertically ସେମାନେ develop होंदी and they can planes fly through. It is best to not fly through the cumulonimbus clouds, and pilots are trained to avoid them as much as possible. So what causes the cumulonimbus clouds to form? Now the perfect mix of moisture, warmth and unstable air makes the cloud come together. Effect of the cumulonimbus cloud, कौन effect पड़ुची? Now these include heavy rain, thunderstorms, hail and the tornadoes and the snowstorms. See, next. What is the role of jet streams in influencing weather pattern? Jet stream weather pattern को केमिति influence करूची? They block the movement of cold air. They help regulate ocean currents. They steer weather systems and influence storm paths. They control the Earth's magnetic fields. What is the role of jet streams in influencing weather patterns? What will be the right answer? This is because of they steer weather systems and influence storms path. See how? Because the warming effects on the jet stream. Without warming रे कौन रहुची? Now equators, warm air and polar air keep the jet stream balanced. With warming रे कौन होची? Now polar air is warmer, so it destabilizes the jet stream, and this lead to what? Next देखो, the phenomenon of temperature inversion is most commonly observed in. The phenomenon of temperature inversion is most commonly observed in the mesosphere, stratosphere, troposphere or thermosphere. What will be the right answer? Samir, Priyadarshini, Abhimanyu. What will be the right answer? The phenomenon of temperature inversion is most commonly observed in the mesosphere, the stratosphere, the troposphere or the thermosphere. This is in the troposphere. What is an inversion, guys? Now, temperature inversion occurs when the air temperature increases with height. This is common during the winter in places like the Phoenix due to the area's typography. Clear? Next, which type of front is associated with prolonged and steady rainfall? Which type of front is associated with prolonged and steady rainfall? Is that cold front? Is that warm front? Is that occluded front? Or that is stationary front? Guys, this is because of what? Warm front. See, types of weather front. One is cold, warm, stationary and the occluded. Cold कौन होची ना cold air replaces warmer air at the surface. Warm air कौन होची ना warm air replaces cooler air at the surface. Stationary कौन होची ना this front is stalled or marginally moves and the occluded कौन होची ना cold front overtakes a warm front. Next see. Which scale is used to measure the intensity of hurricanes? Which scale is used to measure the intensity of hurricane? This is the Saffir-Simpson scale, the Fujita scale, the Richter scale, or the Beaufort scale. Guys, hurricanes ro intensity को measure करिवा पाई. Hurricanes रो intensity को measure करिवा लागी आमे को scale use करछे. This is Saffir-Simpson scale. This is Saffir-Simpson scale. And तारो scale level कौन होची ना 1 to 5 जाए. Suppose first use होची wind speed जेते बेले केते ना 74 to 95 अछि meter per hour. सेते बेले हम use करछे damage of a very dangerous winds will produce some damage. Then आगो को वाले तमे 5% देखि परिबो जेते wind speed up to 157 meter per hour थिबो सेते बेले तमे जानि परिबो hurricanes रे intensity को कोथरे ना Saffir-Simpson scale रे मकासी. Next, which type of fog forms due to the cooling of land overnight? Tell me which type of forms due to the cooling of land overnight? जदि overnight हमरो land cooling होउची को type रो fog देखा जाए ना radiation fog. This is because of what? Now heat radiation first कौन हबो ना one is heat radiation from the surface at night cools the bottom air until it reaches the saturation. Then कौन हबो ना further radiation cooling at top of the fog layer and depends it guys कौन ना तेबेले heavy हेजिवा particles गुडा then fog आकार रे कौन तळकु पडिबो. Fog forms fast at the surface thickening of the cooling conditions. Next देखो next and the last question of the class. Which gas has the highest contribution to the greenhouse effect? Which gas has the highest contribution to the greenhouse effect? Is that methane? Is that carbon dioxide? Is that ozone? Or that is nitrous oxide? That is nitrous oxide. Kuha, what will be the right answer? मैम हुरिकेन कौन हुरिकेन जान पवन रे जोटा गोटे एमती गोल 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 हेके जाए बात्या कहि परिबो बट पवन रे जोटा एमती गोल गोल हेकी चक्की शेप रे जाए गोटे ओडिया रे ताकू कोन कहंती एबे तो पिक्चर देखैथिल ना राउंड शेप रे हुरिकेन सुडा जानती ए टाइप रो एमिति थाए ता भितरे पस्ती गले पूरा तमु नेकी कोठी फोपाडी के पके दबो दैट इज so this is because of the carbon dioxide. Which gas has the highest contribution to the greenhouse effect na carbon dioxide. So atmosphere present hochi kete na 79.7. Okay, next see खंडियाभूत खंडियाभूतर खंडियाभूतटा होची बहुत छोट वर्षन and hurricane टा होची तार सबुठु हायर वर्षन. Next see अच्छा this is the end of the class and guys बुझी गला प्रियदर्शनी I'm glad that तुम बुझी पारला. Okay, so thank you so much. This was today's session. आज क्लास रे बहुत पिला कम थिला. I don't know कार कोन हेसी but guys before that give me look to this guys जो माने भी interested अछंती batch purchase करिबा लागे then this is for you all guys. प्रथम batch already हमरो start हेलानी देखि 30th April को admission close हे जिवो. मो कोड SSP live त माने यूज करूछो त CGL बहुत पाखे आसलानी समस्त बे RI मेंस पछरे पढिछो मु जानि परुछि still CGL को एनॉय करि परिबनी या फिर एसो को एनॉय करि परिबनी. The most secure job for the all Odisha students. Okay, that is 1800 to तमने अफेल करी पारिबो. And guys, Param batch also for the OPSC ASO, that is more code use kariba SSP live and you will have a discounted price 1799. And also guys, Paripurna batch, the foundation batch, the second foundation batch for the 2025-26 जो माने preparation करूछंती या फिर करिबा को जाउछंती सेमाने मो कोड एसएसपी लाइव यूज करिके डिस्काउंटेड प्राइस को अवेल करि परिबे 9999. 30 April is the last date for the admission. And guys, जल्दी जल्दी start करंतु because गोटे बैच already start हेकी एंड हे सारलानी and मु तमनकर साइंस एंड टेक कंप्लीट करूची and बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग रहूची क्लास. So do join by using my code SSP live. Okay, thank you so much guys. Have a good day. Take care of yourself and your family. First the parents. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day.